feel the heat radiating off the sand. The air is absolutely thick, suffocating, shimmering in violent waves above the searing desert floor. We are jumping right into this explainer at the absolute peak of a sweltering, relentless afternoon at the Oaks of Mamre. Picture it. In the heavy, dragging shadow of a goat hair tent sits an ancient, deeply weathered man, Abraham. The profound quiet of the desert is suddenly, sharply broken. Three mysterious guests are approaching through the swirling dust. Now, the scriptures say Abraham doesn't just offer a polite greeting, he runs. You have to visualize this. An old man pushing through the oppressive, suffocating heat, his knees hitting the arid earth as he bows himself completely down into the dust. He offers fresh, cool water to wash the grit from their weary feet, and warm, freshly baked bread. It's a deeply intimate, microscopic detail of human kindness. And yet, this deliberate, beautiful act of hospitality marks the precise, terrifying beginning of a divine judgment. It's the exact moment where the fate of entire cities is about to be decided, right there in the dust of a desert tent. Because here, under the shade of those oaks, the Lord reveals a genuinely horrifying plan. A descent from heaven to investigate the heavy, deafening cry of sin rising from the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. The scriptures show Abraham stepping closer. His heart is pounding against his ribs. His knees are pressed into the dry, cracked earth. He is initiating what is arguably the most high-stakes negotiation in human history. Listen to the raw, unfiltered desperation in his voice as he looks up toward the sky. Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? The Bible records that his deep, agonizing compassion literally forces a pause in the cosmic order. He isn't just asking a theoretical question, He is appealing directly to the very nature of divine justice. He is standing in the gap, pleading for the lives of people he doesn't even know, desperately hoping that just a tiny sliver of goodness might still exist in a valley completely swallowed by darkness. And so the wager begins. Abraham's voice barely breaks above a trembling whisper. What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? He asks. I want you to imagine the heavy, suffocating silence that follows that question. Even the desert wind seems to just stop dead. 50 souls. It is a seemingly microscopic number for a thriving, bustling metropolis overflowing with commerce and wealth. Just 50 people whose hearts are not entirely consumed by malice. The Lord answers him. He will spare the entire valley for 50. But as Abraham stands there, squinting into the blinding sun, looking out toward the distant, hazy plains where Sodom lies, a creeping, chilling realization begins to take hold of his mind. He knows the dark rumors. He knows the violence that spills through their streets. He wonders, with a sinking, heavy dread in his stomach, if even 50 good men can actually be found in that vast, churning sea of depravity. Picture a single bead of sweat forming on his deeply lined brow, trailing slowly, deliberately, down the deep creases of his cheek. His throat is completely dry. He swallows hard. He lowers the count. What if there are 5 less than 50, he asks, and you can hear his voice physically shaking. 45, the Lord agrees. Then 40, 30, 20. With every single agonizing drop in the number, the scriptures show Abraham's slow, terrifying awakening. He is peering over the edge into an abyss of absolute moral collapse. We are watching a slow-motion unraveling of a man's hope. He is painstakingly stripping away the layers of the city's population, searching frantically for just a remnant of humanity, and he is finding nothing but an ever-deepening void. He pushes it one more time. Hear the gravelly, fearful tremor vibrating in his chest. Let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak but this once. Suppose 10 are found there. 10. Just 10 beating hearts of righteousness to hold back the absolute crushing wrath of heaven. The Bible records the Lord's chilling, decisive promise. He will not destroy it for the sake of 10. And then the Lord departs. Abraham is left entirely alone. The golden light of the afternoon is fading into a bruised purple dusk. He is just staring at the horizon. The threshold is set. The fate of Sodom is sealed by a number so unbelievably low, It serves as a devastating, undeniable testament to exactly how far the city has fallen. Now look at this contrast. We shift from the sweeping, sunlit warmth of Abraham's hospitality at Mamre, and we plunge directly into what happens as night falls over the plain. We enter the oppressive, claustrophobic, suffocating dark of Sodom. Lot is sitting at the heavy stone gates of the city. He invites two angels, who appear to him simply as mortal, weary travelers, into his home. He prepares a feast, desperate to offer them safety. But the shadows creeping outside his walls are not empty. This city is completely devoid of righteousness. There are no 10 righteous men here. Instead, a suffocating, hyper-violent malice begins to physically pour out of the narrow alleyways. A mob is creeping toward Lot's door, ready to shatter the fragile sanctuary he has tried to build in the dark. The madness outside escalates rapidly, minute by minute. First, the scriptures say the men of the city, both young and old, completely surround the house. They are pressing against the walls. Then comes the demand. You can see the flickering, violent orange light from their pitch-soaked torches, casting grotesque, dancing shadows across the rough stone. They scream into the night air, demanding Lot bring the guests outside so they can know them. A terrifyingly clear, unified intent of violent, absolute domination. And then, the ultimate threat. You can hear the heavy, rhythmic thud of angry fists pounding against the thick wooden door. The wood actually begins to groan. You can hear the microscopic splintering of the timber under the sheer, crushing weight of a society that has entirely lost its soul. Inside, Lot slowly unlatches the iron lock. He steps outside into the suffocating heat of the mob, pulling the heavy wood tightly shut behind him, his back pressed against it. The noise is absolutely deafening. The torches hiss and pop in the night air. In a desperate, deeply disturbing attempt to appease the totally unappeasable, the scriptures record him doing the unthinkable. He offers his own 2 virgin daughters to the crowd. It is a terrifying, sickening compromise. It showcases the absolute, terrifying, moral bankruptcy of the environment he has willingly chosen to live in. But the mob scoffs. They don't want his compromise. They push forward, their faces twisted in rage, lunging toward him, intent on tearing down that door and taking exactly what they want by sheer brutal force. The iron hinges of the door are buckling. The grasping hands of the mob are literally inches from Lot's face. You can see the sweat on their skin. Then, in a fraction of a millisecond, the angels reach out. They grab Lot tightly by the arms and violently yank him backward into the safety of the house, slamming the heavy door shut. In that exact same split second, a sudden, piercing, hyper-intense light strikes the mob. It is not just bright, it is a physical, heavy, concussive force. The scriptures say the angels struck the men outside with blindness. From the smallest to the greatest, the deafening, aggressive roar of the crowd instantly dissolves into a chaotic, pitch-black panic. They are left groping in the dark, scraping their bare hands desperately along the rough stone walls, frantically trying to find the door, totally consumed by a darkness they cannot escape. Inside those walls, the angels deliver a frantic, breathless warning. Gather your family. This city is marked for immediate destruction. Lot sprints through the dark, chaotic streets to find his sons-in-law. The scriptures say he pleads with them. He is breathless, trembling, panicked. But they just stare back at him in the dim light. They actually laugh. They think he is telling some dark, twisted joke. Their absolute spiritual numbness causes a fatal, tragic hesitation. As dawn begins to break, painting the sky in pale, deceptively calm colors, Lot himself lingers. He hesitates. He can't let go. The danger is so immense, the time so incredibly short, that the angels literally have to physically grab Lot, his wife, and his daughters by their hands, flesh against flesh. They physically drag them out of the city limits, fueled by nothing but the sheer unmerited mercy of the Lord. The timeline of this escape is terrifyingly precise. Pre-dawn marks the violent physical extraction. By sunrise, Lot and his daughters reach the small, nearby town of Zoar, their lungs burning as they gasp for morning air. And then the morning breaks wide open. The scriptures say the Lord rains down sulfur and fire from the heavens. Imagine the sky tearing open, turning a blinding, blood-red hue. The first heavy drops of burning sulfur hit the sand. It is not just a fire, it is an absolute, catastrophic obliteration. The intense, roaring, unimaginable heat consumes the stone buildings, the plains, the vegetation, and every single living soul that remained in that valley. The earth itself is scorched violently back into nothingness. But before the fire even fell, the angels gave one absolute, unyielding command to the fleeing family. Escape for your life. Do not look back behind you. Feel the grave, earth-shattering intensity of those words. Do not look back. Do not hold on to the rot. Do not mourn the destruction of pure, unadulterated evil. As the roaring thunder of the apocalypse echoes right behind them, physically shaking the very ground they are sprinting across, that command hangs heavily in the air. The temptation to just turn around, to witness the end of everything they have ever known, is immense. It pulls at them like gravity. Lot's wife is running. Her feet are pounding the dust. But the pull of the city, the life she left behind, that profound, fatal lingering in her heart, slows her steps. We see this in agonizing slow motion. She slowly pivots her neck. Her eyes catch the blinding, catastrophic light of the burning valley. And in that precise, fatal moment, the transformation begins. The scriptures record the chilling sequence. Her warm, flushed skin begins to dry instantly. A creeping, microscopic crack of crystallization races across her face, down her neck, over her shoulders, freezing her outstretched hand. Her very breath turns to dust. She is instantly transformed into a pillar of cold, lifeless salt. She becomes a permanent, deeply tragic monument, frozen perfectly in her longing for a condemned, wicked world. Lot is absolutely terrified. He cannot stay in the valley. Fleeing the small town of Zoar, he ascends high into the desolate, unforgiving mountains. The scene shifts entirely from the roaring, fiery plains to a damp, isolated, pitch-black cave. The air is cold, water drips slowly from the stone ceiling. The scriptures show us a man who once sat in a position of honor at the gate of a thriving, civilized city, now reduced to a shivering, primitive survival state. The faint shadows on the cave walls dance like ghosts of the life he just lost. The silence of the mountain is deafening. It serves as a constant, heavy echo of the absolute devastation the divine judgment has wrought upon everything he once knew and loved. And within this claustrophobic darkness, a deeply compromised, tragic narrative unfolds. The daughters look out from the mouth of the cave at the smoking, ruined wasteland of the world below. They honestly believe they are the last humans left on Earth. The scriptures record them formulating a desperate, rule-breaking plan to preserve their lineage at any cost. Over 2 consecutive nights, in the absolute terrifying isolation of the mountains, they make their aging father drink wine until he is entirely unaware, and they lie with him. From this dark, desperate act of survival, hidden away in the ashes of the old world, 2 completely new nations are violently birthed into history. The Bible records that the older daughter gives birth to the forefather of the Moabites, and the younger to the forefather of the Ammonites. Miles and miles away from that cold mountain cave, it is early morning. Abraham walks slowly, his sandals crunching against the dirt, back to the exact spot where he stood the day before. The very spot where he made his desperate, trembling plea for 50, then 40, all the way down to 10 righteous souls. He looks down over the vast cliff toward the valley of Sodom and Gomorrah. The scriptures say he doesn't see cities anymore. He doesn't see green plains or bustling, wealthy markets. He sees dense, impenetrable black smoke billowing up from the scorched earth, rising high into the silent morning light like the thick, choking smoke of a massive furnace. It is a macro shot of utter ruin, a stark, timeless, incredibly heavy visual reminder of the absolute, unyielding cost of complete moral collapse. The smoke rises. The salt pillar stands frozen in the wasteland. The cave remains dark and cold. The echo of Abraham's desperate wager still hangs heavily in the air, drifting across millennia straight to us. The scriptures leave us staring at the smoldering ashes of a society that could not produce even a handful of good men. As the glowing embers of this ancient plain slowly fade into the pitch black of history, a massive, unresolved question remains suspended, pressing uncomfortably against the very fabric of our own reality. If judgment fell tonight, upon the streets we walk, upon the cities we build, could 10 righteous souls be found?